In this presentation, I'm going to talk about parameter estimation in branching processes which become extinct with probability 1. This is a joint work with Peter Bornstein and Carmen Minuesa. I'm going to start with the simplest discrete time branching process, which is the Galton-Watson process. In this process, individuals have a common offspring distribution Xi, whose mean M is going to be the parameter of interest here. So we want to be able to estimate M based on the population sizes in the successive generations of the process. So here Zn represents the population size at generation n, and it's well known that these population sizes satisfy a recursive equation. A classical estimator for M based on the successive generation sizes is given by the following ratio between the total cumulative number of children up to generation n divided by the total cumulative number of parents up to generation n. It's well known that this is the MLE for M, and that in the supercritical case when M is bigger than 1, on the path of survival of the process, the estimator converges in probability to the true quantity M, which is the offspring mean. This property is called C-consistency. However, in reality, Galton-Watson processes might not be the best models for biological population because these populations often grow logistically instead of exponentially. So that means that they start growing exponentially and then the growth slows down and then they tend to fluctuate for a long time around a value called carrying capacity. So these processes fluctuate for a long time around this value and actually they still almost surely become extinct. But extinction happens often very slowly, often after actually millions of years. So a more suitable model for this logistic growth is the population size dependent branching process, which is a little bit similar to the Galton-Watson process, except that now the offspring distribution is going to depend on the current population size. So we have Xi of Z, where Z is the current population size. And similarly, the mean offspring is now going to be a function of the current population size. So we can come up with a natural estimator for the mean offspring at population size Z, which is given by this ratio. And this ratio, again, has a nice probabilistic interpretation. So in the numerator, we have the total cumulative number of children from parents who were present in the population when the population was equal to Z, divided by that total cumulative number of parents. We can show that this estimator is also the maximum likelihood estimator for the mean offspring at population size Z. And the question here is, what is the limit of this estimator for large values of n, so as n goes to infinity, on the trajectories where Zn is still positive? So this is an example of trajectory of a population size dependent branching process with a carrying capacity equal to 20 and observed over the first 200 generations. So if we want to do an asymptotic analysis of our estimator, we need to push this to more larger values of the number of generations. So let's have a look at an histogram for our estimator at so the mean offspring, for the mean offspring at population size Z equal 10 and up to the value of n equal to 2000. So we constructed this histogram based on a total of 5,000 simulations of non-extinct trajectories. So we see that it has a nice bell shape. So this indicates an asymptotic normality. And in this case, the real value at Z equal 10 of the mean offspring is this value here. And the empirical mean of our estimates is given by a value which is pretty close to the true value. However, if theoretically we want to do an asymptotic analysis of our estimator, we need to take infinitely long trajectories, which means we need to take n to infinity in reality. So remember that we are in a setting where we have almost sure extinction here. So that means that we need to condition on survival of the process. And by conditioning on survival of the process, we are actually changing things a little bit because in this case, we observe that our estimator does not converge to the true value M of Z, so the true mean of offspring at population size Z, but to a different value which I'm then going to denote by m up arrow z, which is slightly different from the true quantity. Thankfully, we can give a probabilistic interpretation to this limit, and I'm going to explain that now. In order to understand what this limit is, we need to better understand what happens when we condition on the process being alive at generation n and take n to infinity. So we make a few regularity assumptions, which I'm not going to detail here, but among others, they imply that we have almost sure extinction in our process, and also that the matrix Q, which is the substochastic transition probability matrix of the original process restricted to the transient states, satisfies a Perron-Frobenius-like result. Under these conditions, we have that as n goes to infinity, the one-step probability transition of our original process conditional on still being alive at generation n converges to the one-step probability transition in the original process, but rescaled by a factor which involves the entries of the eigenvector V and the convergence norm rho. So this limit is actually the one-step probability transition of a new process, which I'm going to denote with an arrow, up arrow here, and which is called the Q process associated with the original process. The Q process can be seen as the original process, but conditioned on surviving in the distant future. So now that we define this Q process, we are able to interpret the limit of our estimator. So in the original process, the mean offspring at population size Z is the averaged next step size when the population size is Z. Well, similarly, in the Q process, the value m up arrow z is also the next step size when the population, or when the value of the process, when the state of the process is z, rescaled by z. So here the only difference is really the transition probabilities, which are replaced by those in the Q process. So this limit is the equivalent quantity of the true mean offspring size at population size z, but in the Q process. And we were able to show that conditional on Zn positive, our estimator converges in probability to this value, so the equivalent of the true parameter, but in the Q process. And we call this Q consistency property. So Q for Q process. We were able to show also asymptotic normality of our estimator, which confirms the shape of the histogram here. And the proof approach for both results relies on nice coupling techniques and Martingale's central limit theorem. So we have two concepts of consistency. We have Q consistency, where an estimator converges in probability, conditional on Zn positive, of course, converges in probability to the equivalent quantity of the true parameter, but in the Q process. And we have the more usual concept of consistency, where conditional on Zn positive, the estimator converges to the true value of the parameter in probability. So we've seen that our estimator for the mean offspring at population size Z is Q consistent, but is not C consistent. Thankfully, in our population size dependent branching process, the two functions are actually relatively close to each other, because the trajectories of the Q process and the original process are actually relatively similar to each other as well, especially when the carrying capacity is large. But we may ask the question, are there situations where we may prefer a C consistent estimator to a Q consistent estimator? And indeed, we often study endangered populations because they are still alive. So we have to think about the trajectories, the observed data that we have as being generated under the condition Zn positive. And often it might be more useful or interesting to obtain the true value of the parameter as the limit of our estimator. But in order to answer this question, let's come back to the Galton-Watson process, in particular in the subcritical case when the mean offspring is less than 1. So it's well known that conditional on Zn positive, the classical estimator for the mean in the subcritical Galton-Watson process converges to 1 as n goes to infinity, regardless the value of m. And this is actually the Q consistency property of the classical estimator, because one can be seen as an equivalence of the mean offspring in the Q process. With some effort, we were able to come up with a C consistent estimator for the mean, for the mean offspring in the subcritical case. And this is based on the following assumption. So we assume the offspring distribution satisfies this relationship where A and B are some constants. So now, conditional on Z positive, regardless the value of M, we came up with this estimator here, which is a slight modification from the classical one using the constants A and B from here. And this estimator now converges to M as n goes to infinity. So we have the first consistent C consistent estimator for subcritical Galton-Watson branching processes. Let's compare these two estimators on an example where the initial population size is 100. So this shows the mean squared error for both estimator, for the classical one, which is Q consistent, and for the new estimator, which is C consistent. So we see that for small values of n, the classical estimator outperforms the Q consistent estimator, while from some threshold value of n, the Q consistent estimator starts to outperform the classical one. So it really depends on the situation. You may prefer one or the other. So in this talk, we introduced the concept of Q consistency for processes, for the estimation of processes which become extinct almost surely, and we came up with a new C consistent estimator for subcritical Galton-Watson processes. This work is going to appear in a paper whose title is in blue here, and which is going to soon be on arXiv. Thanks very much for your attention.